We got another clipper repair. It's a Styleliner 1. I've took the blade off. To do the clipper cord repair, you don't technically need to take the blade off, but while you're doing it, you might as well clean it all too. So compressed air makes it real nice to clean. And it looks like we got one screw out, so I don't know. We might be missing a screw right there. If so, we could find one. Pretty much this little Swiss Army knife is all I need for all my clipper repairs. It has an assortment of different tools and stuff. It doesn't have Allen wrench on it, but you could probably get the Allen wrench inserts. So we take this off. This right here was my favorite liner, probably. I use this one. I learned on this clipper. I like the way the switch is. I just like the feel of it. The newer style ones, I don't know. I guess they're real similar. They're just a little bit different. So I have two of these. This one, I don't know. So anyways, the switch just came off. These are pretty clean inside. I probably cleaned them when I was messing around before, but I'm gonna just you basically just take this off right here, and it has a little washer that just fell. Want to make sure to keep the washer on tack, otherwise it'll vibrate off. So let's see what we're working with here. So we got, basically we have a black and a white coming out of the cord, and we basically will, just to make it easier, I'm just going to cut these right in here. This cord, the old cord. Throw that in the trash. Got a new cord here. It says it replaces Styleliner 2, Styleliner 3s. So this is a Styleliner 1. It also replaces that. But before I do that, I'm gonna take my soldering iron right here, and I'm gonna plug that bad boy in and let it warm up. I'm just gonna get the tape off of this. Cut it, and little wire. So there's some wire that's gonna go around the new cord. Open this cord up. Black and a white. The black goes to the switch, the white goes to the red, which is the motor wire. But before I do that, well, let's air compressor. See, there's a little hair and stuff in there. Let's get that out of there. Whenever I'm doing a repair, I like to clean the clippers too. So this should be hot now. If we touch this onto the so we unsoldered that. Let's see. All right, so the new wire, I like to see which way it's gonna sit. The round part of this goes up. So I like to make sure that when I'm resoldering this in, that I have it the way that it's gonna be to make it easier. So I'm gonna stick that. Might have to clear that hole a little more from solder, and then put that through right there. So there, now it went through. And it even let me solder it a little, so I think that's doesn't take much. Yep, that's in there. All right, so we're gonna wrap this one around here. And then I'm gonna take a little bit of my flux. This flux is old, but it's still working. So I'm gonna put some flux around this wire, on this wire. That helps the solder get into it. And then I'm gonna take my solder wire, and I'm just gonna set that on there to get it so I can get a clean working area. And so we'll touch that on the solder, heat that up, and then I like to get our solder in there. Seems like it's soldered right in. Getting better at the soldering, folks. And then I don't know if you can see that, but I have a wet towel that I clean off my solder iron tip. Try to reuse this, make it last as long as possible. And then I unplug my soldering iron. We're gonna take our black tape. Take a piece of black tape. All right, so then I tuck these wires in. Make sure that it tucks in properly and that the switch will sit flush. And then I take that screw that had the washer on it, I re-screw this back in. And then I'll take my switch, put that back on like that, and I'll put my top back on. And then at this point, I usually like to plug it in and test it, so as you can hear, we got power. So we'll go ahead and put our blade back on. So when we're doing this, I like to take a little bit of grease, and I just take a little dabble of grease and put it on the blade. So as I'll put it on that the little piece that's sticking out there, and then I'll put that blade on there like that. And a lot of times I just like to hold this one more time, plug it in. It's running like a charm. So anyways, I'm gonna screw everything back in. Before I tighten it, I just like to make sure the blade is straightened out. Sometimes it has some play in it. Plug it back in over here. And it works perfectly, as you can see. See if we gotta do the hair test. Seems like it's cutting fine. If not, I can always do a little fine tune adjusting. Give it a little dabble of oil on the blade. This thing is as good as new. I love the Styleliner ones.